leaders who have spent enormous amount of time working on this issue of transportation and proper transportation funding. And you can't start the discussion without recognizing the actors who have been on the stage for 18 months or more already. Certainly, that group was led off more than 18 months ago when the governor appointed the Governor's Transportation Finance and Implementation Panel. That group went around the state, spent a lot of time cussing and discussing the status of transportation funding for Colorado and trying to move us forward. We have a number of the panel members who were here today. I certainly want to acknowledge the Treasurer of the state of Colorado, Kerry Kennedy, who was one of the who was a co-chair along with Bob Toynton, and also I want to acknowledge Doug Aden, a former chair of the Transportation Commission. He's right there, and one of the co-chairs. We have a number of the panel members here. But you need to know these people have spent enormous amounts of time working on it. Since that time, and more recently over the last 2 or 3 months, we've had a number of people who have been working with Mike Shirotis to try to come up with ideas and concepts, many of which are in the draft bill that is the subject of our discussion this morning. But those meetings have gone on a weekly basis over the holidays to try to come up with and have discussions with members of the General Assembly, certainly members of the governor's staff, members of the leadership on both sides of the aisle, to have an opportunity to have those discussions move forward. And you know, the thing that you cannot overlook in the midst of all of these discussions over the last 18 months, 24 months, whatever period of time you want to talk about, the fact of the matter is that the prospect for funding for transportation gets increasingly, daily, ever more dire. Consider the fact that in the current budget and in the current budget forecast, this year and next year, the state will lose $480 million in Senate Bill 1 funding in one category, $480 million. Consider the fact that the federal portion of the HUTF funding moving forward for this year, that the Transportation Commission and great Executive Director Russ George have to work with, is down by $250 to $300 million, the federal portion. And at the same time, ever ticking, is the $168 million of bond finance repayments under the trans-bond funding. So as we have these discussions, things are getting worse. They're not getting better. We're really pleased that at the beginning of this session, that these ideas that have been worked on are now coming forward. They're ready for bipartisan consideration. They're ready for action. They're ready for discussion. The bill has not yet started through the legislative process, the first hearing, the opportunity for discussion, but there are some underlying themes that are going to be present. One of those underlying themes is visibly expressed behind me when you see the people, the great people from the Colorado Department of Transportation who are ready to get to work, who are ready to get to work. This is an economic stimulus, not just opportunity, it is a mandate. We have got to get Colorado back to work, and we have got to get Colorado back to working together. This is the time to make that happen. These people are ready to do just exactly that, and having this bill move forward now gives an opportunity to be sure that we're going to have something passed and be able to move forward before the session ends. So the timing could not be better. And from the business community's point of view, that nexus is very, very important. that this bill move through with the economic impulse that it will bring to Colorado. The business community, the Denver Metro Chamber in particular, has a long history in this question about transportation. That's kind of our number one issue. It has been for a long time. It was last year. It certainly is this year as well. And as we've looked forward to this discussion, there have been a couple of areas in which we wanted to see something happen. Other people in the business community wanted to see that as well. One of those was the identification of a reliable and sustainable funding source for bond financing. Because bond financing is the one way you can get this moving now. And the sustainability and the reliability of that funding source will be discussed by the bill sponsors. And will be a discussion also in committee. But that's been one of the areas. The marketplace is going to look at that. The business community is going to look at it as well. And the final thing that we wanted to see that's in here is the opportunity to expand the authority of the Colorado Tolling Enterprise, whether that's as a new enterprise opportunity or under its existing aegis. But there are two things there. One is the authorization, the ability to see some more consideration of statewide tolling opportunities. That's one aspect. And the other, even though it does not bring in a new source of financing, is this alliterative phrase called public-private partnerships. Public-private partnerships really is about the adjustment of risk between the public sector and the private sector. But it has been shown to be able to do things faster, more efficiently, and get it done under budget in a much more efficient and worthwhile way. Those elements are in the bill. We're pleased about that. We're pleased particularly with the timing. It's now time to move forward. We've had a lot of discussion. It's a time when policy and politics intersect. And the winners, we hope, are the people of Colorado, because transportation is not about something that divides us. Transportation is about things that unite us. That bridge that a school bus must cross had better be safe. That bridge that someone wants to take medical help to